Welcome to the compound, guys. I ended up buying a property with a house on it that totals 10.2 acres. This is a 2018 John Deere 1025R. Can't hear shit out of this thing. What? If this video gets 10,000 likes, I will start growing a mullet right now.
I am making 10,000 fake accounts and making sure it gets 10,000 likes.
Yes! What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Hopefully that doesn't get me a copyright claim because, well, good old Colt Ford. You guys know how it goes. We've been out running around all morning taking care of some errands because we are at the new property and a lot of things are needed. We're actually going to be kicking off the first ever video on the property with some work that's going to be getting done today. We'll get to that in a little bit, but we've been running around all morning. I had to pick myself up a new pair of work boots. I had to drop off the enclosed trailer to Sam from Lime Ridge. He was nice enough to let me borrow it for the entire move. And guys, 8 full trailer loads later, and we are finally completely out of the old house. We had actually just settled on the old place literally just yesterday, so I can say officially that that chapter is now closed. What the hell was that thing? That was pretty cool. It's like a custom motorcycle. So we ran all those errands in the Denali, which is actually up at the shop right now, and then I decided to grab the Limited. I had to stop over at Lime Ridge because we actually just secured dog number 2. For those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, Doors Off giveaway number 2 is now in our possession, and we will be launching another Doors Off giveaway sometime in September, and I'm super excited about it. So if you guys want to go subscribe to that YouTube channel and follow that Instagram, that information is in the description below if you're into Jeeps. Mind you, that dog number 2 is going to be very different than dog number 1, which we're pretty excited about. Needless to say, it's a very capable machine. And speaking of giveaways, I'm taking full advantage of this Limited while I have it in my possession because, guys, this thing is just outrageous. Between the crazy colors on the interior, the trim pieces, this massive touchscreen, the sunroof, the leather seats, the cooled seats, and everything else under the sun in between, I kind of just don't even want to give it away to you guys. So yeah, that's the end of the vlog. Cut. No, I'm just kidding, I can't do that. But if y'all want to get entered for a chance to take this truck home, grab yourself anything on Enthusiast Apparel and you might be getting the call of a lifetime. Take this truck home plus $10,000 cash on top. All right, the Ram is now back at the shop, tucked away and hanging out for the time being. As much as I wanted to bring that over to the new house today, well, there are some other things that had to make their way over. We got a whole bunch of mixed gas, got some for the Steel, got some for the Echo, got some just regular gas. We got the diesel for something that I'm gonna show you guys that I'm super excited about. We got our little Milwaukee, can you even see it back there? Got our little Milwaukee blower. I got my bow. I've got my machete. Where'd it go? It's in there somewhere. And we got a power washer. We got this thing all loaded up. You can see it's absolutely freaking filthy right now. I've been putting it to work and I really haven't even had a chance to wash it. It's on the to-do list, but I don't know. Never have too many hats. And now we are in the Denali, headed over to the new house. And finally, we're at that point where I can reveal all the details of the new house to you guys. I cannot wait. Believe me, it's been killing me just as much as it's been killing you not knowing anything, where I know everything and I can't say anything. So we'll get all that stuff unloaded here in a minute. Y'all have waited long enough. So without further ado, welcome to the compound, guys. I ended up buying a property with a house on it that totals 10.2 acres. Now we're still in the Lancaster area, so don't stress, I didn't go far. Lancaster County, to all of my locals, is home for me. I love this place so much. Never saw myself staying in Pennsylvania when I was in Bucks County, which is where I was born and raised, as I kind of wanted to see some of the world. Went to Michigan, fell in love with it, and then General Motors told me that I had to go back to Pennsylvania to a job that I didn't really like. Ended up finding Lancaster to go work for a flooring company, then works for another company in between, and now I'm on my own, as you guys know. And in that whole process, everything was meant to happen for a reason because we found our home, which is Lancaster. So let's take a little ride and talk about it. Yes, this is what I was talking about with the new toy, the addition to the fleet. This is a 2018 John Deere 1025R. It's got a mid-mount belly mower that's 60 inches on it, and you can see right over there, it also has a small front end loader. This is actually kind of a part of the purchase of the house as well. The people that we bought this off of didn't need it anymore as they were dramatically downsizing. They had actually both just retired, so they made me an offer that I couldn't resist on it, and it was kind of a necessary thing considering how much ground we now have. This thing's a little 25 horsepower unit, free emissions. Anything I think over 26 horsepower needs a DPF. Fortunately, we don't have any of that negativity on this machine right here. All right, guys, so we are taking a tour around the compound, which we actually just coined as Rocky Ridge Homestead because of the fact that, well, there are lots of rocks like everywhere, as you can see. So I figured it was kind of only fitting. Now I will give you guys a quick tour of the inside of the house at the end of this video. So if you're excited about that, definitely stay tuned. Hopefully the audio is decent because I kind of wanted to do something a little bit different than just walk around and be boring. So as you guys can see here on the left, we have a wildlife preserve. I'm just kidding. It's actually just a goat pen that chickens also stayed in, but it's empty right now because the previous sellers ended up donating their animals to a local farming friend of theirs, which kind of worked out well. There was about half a dozen goats in there and about a dozen chickens, and we love the fact that this is on the property because we actually want to get livestock very soon ourselves, but we kind of wanted to start fresh from the beginning. We want to do pygmy goats, which are actually kind of small goats, friendly goats, but they're still goats. They're monsters. They just eat anything in sight. As you can see, this pen has gone unkept for literally only 3 weeks and the weeds are growing rampant. And then we want to get chickens as well so we can harvest our own eggs. I love my eggs in the morning. I don't know about all y'all. Drop a comment below and smash that thumbs up button if you agree. But the thing is, we actually want to relocate this whole pen back here. You can see we have some kind of open yard area in this vicinity, and then it all goes into brush. Now I'm excited to get you guys to the back end of the property. Actually, it's kind of to the middle of the property because it changes dramatically from what you see here. So archive this mentally. One thing it makes me feel is very happy. This is my friend Wilson. Yes, in honor of Castaway. We were moving this around with the rock bucket on the skid steer, and that just so happened to scratch itself in. So Wilson V2. I had to have a Wilson of my own, but mine's just in the form of a big rock. Let the tour continue. You guys can see that a large part of this area here is rocky as all living hell. So sorry about all the background noise, but it's dug all the way on up to our house right there. Well, what ended up happening was during our home inspection, we had also scheduled a septic inspection and a well inspection because we have on-site septic tanks here and a well for our water. And while it was the best decision I had ever made, I never forego my rights as a buyer with inspections. So we got the septic tank inspected, and lo and behold, it wasn't working at all. It was actually not even installed to plan, and for whatever reason, the DEP officer in our township had approved the septic system as it was in its unfunctional form. So that actually ended up falling on the sellers to have to repair it. It was a relatively costly repair, but now it's completely done. I would advise, if you're ever going to buy something of a larger magnitude like a property, get it inspected. It is the best buyer's protection one could ever have. So that's why this is all kind of ripped up, and we'll get into a little bit more of kind of where the field is and everything in the back. Here, if you follow me on Instagram, is where my Caterpillar severed its femoral artery, aka the primary drive motor hose, and leaked out all of its hydraulic fluid. So we're gonna excavate some of that out of there because it's kind of somewhat contaminated. You can see we've been somewhat at work trying to clean up all the rocks that are just embedded in the ground in this area, and I have since made a rock pile as part of Rocky Ridge. We do have a nice rock bucket right here, but we also have a grapple bucket and a whole bunch of other attachments I'll show you guys that are sitting right up where the skid steer is now. And we had kind of cleared a path that goes over to the other part of my property. That's my 5 acres over there, and then this is my 5 acres over here. So kind of a crazy story. We actually were in the market for a house for over 1.5 years time. We were having a really hard time finding what it is that we were looking for because I'm just pretty much difficult. I had a very specific criteria that I wanted to meet. I wanted property that was upwards of 5+ acres. In this instance, we really lucked out because we got over 10, which is eligible for clean and green, which is a very nice tax incentive, which is very, very cool that Pennsylvania honors. We can get into that another time if you guys are curious about it, but it has to do with kind of like agriculture. So we had looked at, no joke, over 100 houses, and we were just kind of striking out. We made an offer on 2. Well, I'm really happy that they didn't work out because everything kind of happens for a reason. We were actually looking at the open 5 acres that it's kind of like right over there. I'll show you guys that in a little bit once we continue kind of like our tour around Rocky Ridge compound. And I had actually noticed the house. It was like a farm style colonial. It was pretty much exactly what we were looking for from the outside. So quickly I pulled up the listing on my phone, which I had actually come to find out looked at about 5 times, but I didn't really think that the photos were all that good, so it really didn't have that much curb appeal. Well, come to find out, we actually ended up meeting the sellers that same day. They took us for a tour of not only their house, but their property. Very, very, very nice people, and we were absolutely in love with it. We made an offer on it, and no joke, within an hour they had accepted. And then to add fuel to the fire of irony here, next day my wife posted an Instagram story of Otto, which is our big Australian Shepherd, saying that he's gonna miss being a lifeguard, kind of being indirect about the fact that we might be moving, because at that point there still could have been plenty of things that kind of came up that made the deal fall through. Well, short of the long here is my neighbor's wife had some friends that just moved up into the area, and they actually ended up buying our house the next day, and we didn't even have it listed on the market. The market right now is hot, guys. For anybody that's actively in the housing hunt, all I can say is patience, patience, patience. Whatever's meant to happen will happen. Oh yeah, there's another big rock. Okay, let the tour continue. Another rock, and some more rocks, and a dead branch. Any deer today? Nope, not right now. It's kind of midday, so I'm not surprised by that. All right, and here's where the property drastically evolves, which is pretty cool. We just came out of that small opening. You saw that there was a bunch of just overgrown woods and shrubs and everything like that on either side of us. But now we are out in what is our pasture. So this is probably about roughly, I'm gonna call it maybe an acre and a half worth of completely open, completely cleared land, which I actually didn't even know existed when I was walking on the property. But then I walked out there. I got to about right there and my jaw just about hit the ground. I wanted on our property, and this is part of this criteria that I was talking about, which is the size of a needlehead, to offer both things a property could. I wanted it to be open in some areas and wooded, and ultimately have a canopy in some areas. Woods are really where all the activities take place, and open areas is where we can enjoy our dogs. We can bring little Jack out here, teach him how to ride motorcycles or quads, or maybe even teach him how to drive that tractor right there behind us. So I'm beyond excited about all this, guys, and there's so much to cover, so I would love to sit here and just talk to you all about just what my ideas are right here, but we still have a lot of touring to do. And here's just a quick update. The septic tank is actually 400 foot away from the house, and that tank was actually installed next to the house, but in accordance to the blueprints that were approved by the DEP officer in this township, it needed to be here. So yeah, I don't know how somebody makes that big of a mistake, but it's all fixed now. All right, now we are going to head back into the woods. That's kind of on the back side of our property. We own all into these woods. I can't even tell you how far it goes back. It's probably a good at least 200 yards, but we'll get back there real quick and I'll show you all what I'm talking about here. You're gonna need some four-wheel drive for this one though. Now that's kind of where the property gets split in half. There's 5 acres here and then 5 acres over there where the house is. And what's really cool is we really don't have many neighbors here. There's some houses kind of way back there on the other side of the ridge line. This property is another 11 acres that's actually owned by my neighbor, who happens to be a younger dude with a wife, a little boy, and 2 dogs, which is kind of really ironic because my family is exactly the same thing. So what's cool is I talked to him already and he was really cool with saying, hey man, go enjoy my property. What's mine is yours and yours is mine. And that's pretty much all I could have ever asked for, because when you have this much property, it's kind of nice to be able to just free flow on it when you're on the same page with your neighbor. This trail actually connects to what is part my property, but we're on his right now. But in total, we have 21 acres. Get those thorns down. I don't want to take those things out of my house. I forgot, man, this 1025R, you gotta hit this button every time you want to back up. It's kind of annoying. Does anybody have a 1025R? Does anybody know how to disable that reverse safety feature? I don't like that at all. Sure, it's a bad idea. There's a rock. More rocks. More rocks. That was a rock. So this, all the way back here, right where that little fence is the neighbor's property. They own 40 acres. So in total, between my property, my neighbor's property, their property right there, basically have 60 acres of untouched hunting grounds. Speaking of hunting grounds, we got that really nice 2-person fixed stand right on our property. But you want to know the crazy thing? It's not mine. Or should I say it wasn't mine, but now it is mine. My neighbor's property starts right where you can see those yellow posted signs, but the people that lived here didn't really post anything at all. And from speaking with the neighbors, apparently there's a pretty bad trespassing problem, as you can see right there. So the name of the game in hunting, wherever it is that you are in the entire world, is respect. Generally, if you ask somebody to hunt their property, it can go one of 2 ways, a yes or a no answer. Not all that bad considering, so if you never know, you never try, right? And that's actually how I ended up getting the grounds that I hunted that weren't this property up until this point in time, which I'll probably still be hunting. I've got cameras set up over there and I've posted some of those on my Instagram. But seeing something like this tends to make me wonder. It looks somewhat inactive, at least this season, because of all the briars and thorn bushes that are all grown up. Oh my God. We got a wild one, boys! We got a wild one! I didn't bring my gun out here, but we're just gonna have to go over there for this one ourselves. Holy shit! Let's get it! Let's get it! We're going after it! Damn, my Jake call wasn't working all that well today.
Too much cardio today.
So, like I was saying, this tree stand seems somewhat inactive, and well, I think we're gonna end up claiming it for ourselves. But to be respectful, I'm gonna do a little bit of due diligence to see maybe if it's somebody local. But if not, you know what it'll make?
A nice 2-person stand?
A nice 2-person stand for filming the hunts this year. It's a ton of thorns. We just gotta bring our snippers out here. Well, if you're dedicated, y'all, you might as well bring everybody up with you.
Ouch!
Pants on though.
I came prepared.
That thing is rock solid too.
Yeah, it is.
Seems like it could be a really nice spot.
Yeah, it does. Nice thickets.
Vantage point going all downhill.
Yeah. Real good for archery. I live here now. This is my house.
Put a little pad on that seat and we'll be in business, dude.
That's living in a lap of luxury. We'll just rock the metal great.
We're padding it up, being that it's going to be ours. Taking everybody on a tour of my property with the tractor.
Nice. I was wondering. I was like, where did Jack go? And I was like, I'm going to hike back the trail. I have a feeling.
With the wilderness.
Come out here, you're like just wearing a loincloth, banging two sticks together.
I just have a leaf over the private jewels and I'm like, oh.
Sorry, man.
I just like dive in the briar.
Yeah, disappear like into a hole.
I guess there's not, I guess I didn't know everything about this guy.
Much better on the way down. I can, yeah, that's not, nope.
Ooh, right on the family jewel.
Oh.
All right, Jacob, you want to ride on the 3-point hitch? Yeah. So yeah, we are going to hunt this property and I'm gonna film as much of it as possible. I gotta look into it because I know the people that run YouTube are a little sensitive at times. I don't really know if we'll be able to film the actual act of harvesting our meals that we'll eat with our family. Oh well, I guess humans don't have to eat, right? Cool. So more to come on that here very soon in future videos. Speaking of hunting, a lot of you hunters out in the audience right now are probably asking yourselves, are you gonna do anything food plot related? And the answer to that is yes. We're trying to figure out where we wanna do it, but I'm thinking kind of somewhere right in this general vicinity because we'll be able to open up with kind of taking down a few of the trees to get some really nice light into what are the comfort crops for deer after the beans have been consumed and harvested, the corn has been consumed and harvested and all that good stuff. It'd be a perfect thicket for archery season. China bugs?
China bugs.
China bug.
Ah, the China bug.
I saw one get eaten by a spider last night, dude. I was freaking celebrating and singing the national anthem.
God bless America.
Ah, another one.
A China bug. Get the shotgun.
And speaking of shooting, we can do that here on the property. So eventually I think we're going to end up building a nice shooting berm just to practice safe shooting so that way things don't go flying in any specific areas. We got enough rocks to where we can build a cool wall and then put some dirt over that. It's pretty neat. All right, so I'm just gonna show you guys kind of the last part of the property here and then I'll bring you up and show you the quick inside of the house like I had promised. So you can see there are kind of piles of stuff all over the place. We are gonna get in here and clean it up a good ways. Probably gonna whack some branches, mind you. Just swerve and weave, boys, just swerve and weave. Here you can see the other side of Rock Everest. Dude, the Egyptians would love that, dude.
Yeah, that would be a pyramid in no time.
So here's a little pathway that I cut out to get to the other pathway on my property. There's an old fence post, and this kind of just cruises right up and along. Our house is right over there. All this is the untouched piece of the property that we were originally looking at buying. And then as you can see, it all kind of goes right up into this area and then cuts off. So we are actually just gonna back right on up here. And we're gonna cut open this trail just a little bit more. I've been meaning to do this for a while and it just so happened to work out with all of you guys. So that now brings us to the point in the vlog where I can finally explain to you guys the method behind the madness of purchasing a skid steer. Obviously the skid steer serves for very useful functionality with those pallet forks at the shop. Use it all the time. That goes without being said and it's pretty obvious. We also wanted to prepare for this day. At the time that we bought this machine earlier this year, what was that, Jake? February, March? Mid-March. We were already actively seeking a piece of property, but as I had said earlier in the video, patience, 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 you kind of need to wait for what is destined to happen. So now we got it over at the property because we are going to be putting it to use with multiple implements, as you can see. We've got our cat bucket over here. Sam from Lime Ridge was kind enough to let me borrow his brush hog, which we had picked up in an earlier video. And then my friend Tony Becker Landscaping, allowed me to borrow his basically brand new grapple bucket. This thing is a freaking beast. Got dual opposable claws on it and it's 84 inches wide. Believe me when I tell you, that thing is gonna get put to really good use on this property. Guys, by the way, this man has been growing a mullet since he started working with me full time and we gotta show this beauty off. Damn. Dude comes in this morning and the sides are shaved, man. This mullet is in full force. We got business in the front and party in the back. Oh, damn. Oh, damn. Do I grow my hair in the mullet? It's pretty long right now. I don't know if my wife would approve, but I'm self-employed.
Can't hurt her, just wear a hat.
Which I do every day. I like one day, take my hat off and it's just like,
like unfolds like 3 times, like mid-back.
I don't know, maybe. If this video gets 10,000 likes, I will start growing a mullet right now.
I am making 10,000 fake accounts and making sure it gets 10,000 likes.
Yes! So while I'm introducing Jake to an entirely new addiction that he's gonna have, which is equipment, we'll get back kind of over to the house. So we wanna move the livestock pen over back this way, but before that work can get done, we actually have to do the work of clearing that land. And plus from our house, we wanna be able to see back into our property because I've walked out there, I can't even tell you how many times I've seen tons of deer. What I would like to do is be able to drink coffee right there in the morning, maybe while cooking myself some steak and eggs, the eggs coming from our chickens, and look at the deer that I'll be able to harvest later that year. Now, before we get inside, a lot of you are probably scratching your heads about one critical element, and that is a shop. Well, actually right now, as part of that very specific needle window that I was talking about that I had when I was house hunting, a shop was in that criteria, but I knew that between land, a house that accommodated our needs, and a shop, there was no way I was gonna be dealt a full deck of cards, if you will. So I kind of compromised. We went with the house that we absolutely love. We've got the property that I'm obsessed with, and we'll be able to build a shop one day. I'm kind of thinking that shop's gonna go in this general area. I would like to delete these trees, take our driveway and extend it from right here out into the woods and then over, because our driveway actually kind of serpentines up and around, and then it would connect and keep gooseneck here. We can keep stuff here. We can park trucks here. We can do all that good stuff. There's no way Jake's coming back for a while, man. That dude's gonna have too much fun driving that tractor. Another sweet added bonus to this is that tractor that I kind of inherited. I also inherited this steel farm boss from the seller. So I went out and picked myself up some proper PPE. I've got the protective chaps right there, and we're actually gonna be putting them to work potentially at the end of this video. We've also got our color shot here in Pennsylvania. We can use purple paint that's a foot tall from top to bottom as a posted property. So Jake and I will be going around doing that. I'm kind of wondering, should I take y'all around? I think that I might do it. Let's talk about the inside of the house real quick. We made a few mods to the inside because if there's anything you know about us, we can't keep anything stocked. All right, guys, so you walk in the property and to the left, you can see we've got a laundry room by that sign. It's very obvious. We've got our powder room. We've got Ozzy. We've got Otto. And then we're kind of in the general kitchen area, as you can see. So when we got this house, the kitchen cabinets were not white. We had our good friend Gene from AE Painters come in and do a world of job on this house. We not only painted the kitchen cabinets, we also put new hardware on, and we painted all the walls in the house this kind of like neutral gray color, just to be super simple. We figured that we would get that stuff done before we actually moved all of our belongings in, and then had to inevitably move them again to get the work done. So we wanted to get it all done before we moved in, so that way we were just complete. So you kind of come around to this area here. Otto's trying to get on the vlog. He's barking at Jake right now. Are you barking at Jake? Who's that? That Jake? Huh? Yeah, you just want to go outside and play. So then we get over here. This is kind of like the formal dining room area. Again, all painted and everything like that. We've got the wifey in here cleaning up, doing something that she actually really loves to do, which is vacuum, surprisingly. So we've got our office, which is now kind of on the first floor. We still got a lot of decorations and everything like that we need to hang up, but this one is my favorite phrase right here: stay hungry, stay humble. I think that's gonna go right there.
Everyone always asks me if I work for you. I do not. I have my own job, my own career, my coworker is here to prove it.
And then we've got this right here, which is kind of Jake's workstation when he decides to work on his computer at the house. And last but not least, here is kind of like the family room area. We ran new flooring throughout the entire house. Seamless transitionless, so there are no transitions that go between rooms. Here, over this way, and over there. And actually, fun fact, Jake actually used to install flooring full time. So I gotta give you an air pound right here for killing it. This man and one of his friends actually knocked this job out in like 3 days. It was a monumental task, but y'all crushed it, and it turned out looking so freaking good.
What can I say? I can do flooring in my sleep.
Yo, mind you guys, if you're into hunting, this dude's going out to Colorado on an elk hunt where he's gonna go, what is it, a full week, and you're planning on hiking how many miles?
Oh, dude.
Do you have a ballpark?
7 to 8 a day. And
7 to 8 miles a day to find that big bull elk.
it'll be a task, but we're gonna give her a shot.
So I think what I'm gonna do is I have a few extra cameras. I'm gonna give him some camera equipment so that way he can try and film in between. So that way when he gets back, we can actually share some of that adventure here on the vlog. Hopefully while we're getting some elk steak.
Hopefully. That would be ideal.
All right, so I really wanted to get that video out of the way because I'm so grateful and so blessed and so thankful to be able to call this home. But now we got actually some work to do. We got to get this grapple bucket on here real quick. Got to lube that throttle a little bit, man. That thing's getting stiff. This is easily my favorite attachment ever. This thing rips. Make sure it's seated. So the plan today, guys, to actually take this tree down. You can see, well, it's dead for starters, and it's actually leaning towards the house. That makes me nervous because as trees die, they become more frail, and a good gust of wind in a storm or something like that could knock it right into the house, and that doesn't make me all that comfortable. So the idea is to get this thing to fall kind of in this general area, which shouldn't be all that bad. Notch it right here and let it rip. here, get out of this thing.
What?
Well, guys, that's where we're gonna wrap up this video. We got a few more trees that we're gonna end up taking down today, depending on how quickly we can get this cleaned up. I gotta go and find a good spot to designate all this wood, because we are gonna keep this for bonfires and such going forward. But man, I am so happy I took that down, because that thing was super dead. I started notching it. I was gonna fall it this way, and then I quickly realized that, man, this tree's dead. And that means the root system is probably dead, inevitably what ended up killing the tree, because it wasn't getting any hydration. So I kind of just stuck the boom on it, and y'all saw what happened after that, which is sweet. So we're gonna put this thing to work for a little bit. That's where we're gonna end this video. So grab some entries for Dream Diesel giveaway number 12 if you haven't already, because you might be taking home unlimited and $10,000 cash. That being said, we'll get back into all the good truck stuff in the upcoming videos, and I'll see y'all in the next upload.